Peace and blessings, world, and welcome to another edition of Fresh Perspective, where we give you a fresh take on this week's hot topics. And before we get into it, I gotta introduce the panel. Always, I start off with my man Bo 2.0. How you doing today, Bo?
I'm good. How y'all doing? Let's get it.
All right, let's get it. Then we got to go with the young and talented Mr. Courtney Chappelle, Mr. Worldwide. How you doing today?
I'm good. I can't complain, y'all. Let's get to it.
Okay, normally I save this brother for last, but he's not actually the one producing the show today. So I'm gonna go to the professional, Mr. D. Stanfield. How you doing today, sir?
And I'm doing really good considering the fact that I don't have to do that job. So let's get it popping.
Okay, cool. And then I got a shout out to the disembodied voice, man, Mr. James, for producing the show and making sure everything goes so smooth, man. Shout out
Make
to
sure
you,
you
James.
address that. Make sure you address that man properly. It's big game, James.
Oh, big game, James. Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna just get right to it, man. This week has been kind of crazy, ups and downs, championships won, people getting hurt. But I got to start out with Dak Prescott, man. Dak bet on himself, similar to kind of how my old quarterback Joe Flacco bet on himself, and he was trying to take it to the next level with the season. Unfortunately, ankle got broken. Bo. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna start out with you, D. Stanfield. Is this a situation where Dak Benton lost? He's not going to get his money, or do you think he'll recover fine and he'll still get that big payday that he's looking for?
Um, I think when we say that he's not going to get the big payday that he's looking for, we equate that to basketball, and we think about people like Paul George and Gordon Hayward and the trajectory of their specific injuries. But when we look at the quarterback position, let's be honest. That his injury has nothing to do with what he does best, and that's throwing the football and navigating the field. So I think that Dak is still going to get paid. Is he going to get the $40 million that he was pushing for? Absolutely not. But I don't think that he was ever going to get that in the first place, and part of that is due to the fact to the organization that he is embedded in. I think that right now, the tears that you saw when he was leaving the court or leaving the field were indicative of him coming to the realization that he's actually going to get what the majority of people think that he's worth, which is really between 30 to 34 million, as opposed to the 40 million that he was actually pushing for, that he should have been pushing for, that they should have actually paid him because of the organization that they have and because of the fact that they could pay him. They pay Zeke. They're paying Amari Cooper, and let's be clear, when you paying him the franchise tender, it's roughly about that amount anyway. So, but nah, he's not gonna get paid the same amount that he would have got paid if he wouldn't have got injured, especially considering the fact that he was putting up historic numbers. So I think
And you
he's
know
an
that's the. Oh, go ahead.
I think he's an underappreciated quarterback as a whole. I don't think that he's as good as what the stats are necessarily saying, but I do think that he's an underappreciated quarterback, and we need to give him his due. But he ain't getting 40 million.
Okay, and that's you made some really good points. So I'm gonna go over to Bo because Bo, your favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, is an organization that generally pays their players. They paid Carson Wentz early. Um, how do you feel about this Dak situation, man? Did Dak mess up not taking the bread?
Well, I don't know who advised that, but if I'm not mistaken, at the time the Cowboys offered him the contract. Was it 5 year, 175? It would have been the richest contract ever for a quarterback before obviously Pat Mahomes' contract or whatever. But he should have took the money, man. I think what Dak wanted less years, and he wanted 40 million, and what Jerry Jones wasn't willing to do that. So now, do I still think he'll get paid? He would get a 1 year prove it deal. So basically, after this season, he's on the franchise tag this year. After this season, he probably get franchise again for what his tag deal. See how see how well he do, and after that, get his big payday. But he still won't be getting that 40 million. Regardless, he wanted to be the highest paid quarterback, and everybody know Dak is not. He's not the best quarterback in the league to be paid to be the highest paid quarterback. He should have took the contract when they gave it to him. I don't know who advised him to turn that down, but he bet it on himself, and I hope he get paid because he's a black man. I like black quarterbacks, but man, look here, man, it's gonna take him about 2 years for him to come back from what happened to him. As Gordon Hayward, as Paul George.
Okay.
Gordon Hayward ain't been there.
He don't have to jump or slide laterally.
He's still gonna be getting tackled. He's still gonna get hit.
I mean, look, his shoe. It looked like his shoe was coming off, and it wasn't coming off. That's how messed up his ankle was.
Didn't the tackle make his ankle do that? It ain't like he just ran and that happened. He got tackled.
Cool. And so I'm gonna go over to Mr. Young and Talented. Just your thoughts on it, man. Like you said, Dak turned out a whole lot of money. He bet on himself. Did he make the right decision? Do you think he'll still get some of that same type of money, or do you think he's totally diminished his market value?
I never thought he was gonna get the money at all. I ain't think y'all remember our arguments on here already. I didn't think Jerry Jones wanted to pay him. So not that he wished for this, but this is right up his alley. He get Andy Dalton. If Andy Dalton could do relatively anything Dak could do, now he got an argument of why I need to pay Dak when I could find clearly Andy Dalton at 32 to do what Dak do. So do I think he's going to get his money elsewhere? More than likely. He deserves a contract. He still deserves somewhat of a contract. I never thought he was going to get 40-something million. They say he was asking for it anyway. That was excessive. I was always on the table that he should get at least $1 million more than Carson Wentz. That was always my thing. Anybody who could remember that was always my argument. I never said he was supposed to be paid out crazy. He was the best quarterback in the world. I just said he should be $1 million more than Carson Wentz. Because at minimum, he's done equal to what Carson Wentz has done. And that was the standing contract in front of him. Outside of that, it's tough. It happened to Dak, man, but I didn't think they was going to pay him.
Now, Courtney, you brought up an actual good point, so I need you to rebuttal on something that you just said. You just talked about Andy Dalton, and I remember when the Dallas Cowboys signed Andy Dalton, you had some people like, Dak should have took the money. Here's his possible replacement here. I never saw that because I didn't think Andy Dalton was that guy. But to your point, Courtney, if Andy Dalton has a better than average season, will Dak Prescott continue to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, or could he possibly lose his job to injury?
If he take the contract that Jerry Jones wanted him to take, he'll be the Cowboy quarterback. If he don't, he won't. It's that simple. Jerry in the money seat right now. So is either going to take the contract I give you, or you could go out there and find it and figure it out. Jerry, trust me, there's some quarterbacks coming up that Jerry wouldn't mind bargaining some chips for or some pieces for. Believe that. That ain't Jerry. Listen, Jerry sell you a good dream. You feel me? And Jerry tell you a lot and make you feel like you a son. But understand this: he is a businessman first. So let's be realistic, man. It's some quarterbacks out here he would love to pay. You know what I mean? I told y'all from the gate. Tony Romo didn't have it. Tony Romo ain't have no issue getting his money. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, and before I go on to the next question, I'm going to throw that one at you, D. Stanfield. Is it possible Dak could even lose his job as the Dallas Cowboys quarterback?
No.
Possible?
Not within the next. No, it's not possible that Dak loses his job.
Yeah, that's possible.
Oh, yeah, bro.
No.
Let D cook, man.
After he talk, I'll talk.
I don't listen. I don't even acknowledge what Bo says right now because he just got slandered by the entire Jerry West argument. So I just missed that totally. I hear where Court is going to go with that, but there's no chance that Dak loses his job because not only is that ankle not going to affect what he does best, but on top of that, he has the galvanized fellowship and structured leadership of that entire team. There's never a negative word in that locker room spoken about Dak. He's literally put it all on the line for that team. He's said all the right things. He's done all the right things. He's shown up every day. The only negative things that are being said about this entire situation are being said about that organization, not about Dak. The most questionable thing that you could say is that he should have took the money, and the fact of the matter is they should have paid him. So, I mean, there's not a possibility that he's going to lose his job within the next 2 years. After that, all bets are off. It's based on productivity.
Okay, all right, Bo. I know you was chomping at the bit, ready to get some of that, man. Is it possible that Dak Prescott could lose his job as the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys if Andy Dalton plays better than serviceable?
Let Andy Dalton take them folks to the NFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott ass is gone. You understand me? I don't know. D must forgot who run this. D must forgot who run that damn team. This Jerry Jones team. Whatever he want goes. Okay. If the Red Rifle take their ass to the NFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl, Dak Prescott can kiss the Dallas Cowboys goodbye whenever you get to it. Okay?
How about this?
Whenever you get to it.
How about this? How about this? Before wait,
that if Andy Dalton becomes Nick Foles, then Dak Prescott will become the equivalent of what Carson Wentz should have been.
Touche.
Yeah. Jerry Jones to get rid of him. We got rid of Nick Foles. We kept Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott ass is up out of here. I'm telling you.
That mean that you just said exactly what I said. What I was thinking. Andy Dalton, whether Andy Dalton take their ass to the Super Bowl and win or not, Andy Dalton is on his way to fuck up out of there.
Hey, can I respond? Can I respond?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Courtney, get one more, then I'm gonna go to the next question.
If Andy Dalton plays Nick Foles, Dak Prescott ass is out of there. If Andy Dalton plays a horrible, horrible version of any bad quarterback you want to name in the last 10 years, and they get a 1, 2, 3 pick, and he might get
Dak Prescott ass out of there.
Dak Prescott ass is out of there. You hear me? Don't let this go bad or good for Jerry, because he gone. I'm telling you, this better go mediocre where there's a decision to make.
If they got a chance, if they get a top 2 pick, his ass is gone.
He gone.
Hey, Bo, real quick. There's a question that I'm gonna ask you guys later, and it's basically about players getting paid early or late. So I'm gonna save that for later. But right now, I gotta go to LeBron James. I gotta talk about the King. Initially I was going to ask about that decision that he made in Game 5, and I know how people was tearing him up. But guess what? Don't matter right now. He's a champion. So right now, I kind of need y'all thoughts on how do y'all feel about this whole championship situation with the Lakers. What does this mean for the Lakers? What does this mean for LeBron's legacy? So, Mr. Young and Talented, I'm going to start with you, man. Talk to me. How do you feel about this situation with LeBron? I know all of the comparisons for him and MJ have come back up, but I need a fresh perspective on this because everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. Talk to me. Courtney.
Who's up? You said me?
Courtney.
My bad.
Yeah, that's you.
I can't. You blanked out in the headphones.
Talented.
Shout out.
Young ears.
Shout out, Braun. They got it done inside this bubble. When I'm not gonna hold it against them because when we started this, I'm gonna hold true to what I said.
Shout out to the bubble. That bubble was dope. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
From as I started this with that this bubble was gonna be like AAU for grown men. And there was no excuses. Everybody had their rest. Everybody had their breaks. I didn't take all of that. Oh, I didn't want to be here and this and that. You ain't want to be there. You shouldn't have showed up. There was no better time than right now to be rebellious as you want to be and nobody judge you. So you was in the bubble. You didn't win. You didn't get it done. It is what it is. Shout out to Braun and them. They got it done. Game 5. I mean, anybody worried about Game 5, you basically expected LeBron James to do something different than he's done his majority of his career, bro. Like
they tore him up after Game 5, Courtney.
You just wanted to be bothered about something because we all knew he was passing the ball. Y'all. Like we all knew that. So that's not even an argument to have. Nobody cares about that. Shout out to everybody that got it. Shout out to Dwight Howard. Shout out to D. Waiters. Shout out to Jr. Do Nothing Smith. You heard me. He walked in with a black and mile and his hat capped to the side, and he left with some champagne and no shirt on. You know. Shout out to Contavious Caldwell Pope. Shout out to there's a few people. Shout out to the other Antetokounmpo brother. And I'm gonna break it first. The worst thing in the world that happens for the NBA is the younger Antetokounmpo brother played with AD and LeBron James and won an NBA championship.
Thanksgiving will
If you
be
don't think
interesting.
it's not about Thanksgiving, see, y'all worried about I got a trophy before you. What you need to worry about is him telling his brother, yo, it was fun over here. The coaches was cool over here. Jason Kidd was cool over here. Braun and them cool over here. You might want to come over here next year. That's what y'all need to worry about. You worried about the Thanksgiving table. You're going to be mad as hell next year if Greek Freak is over there. So y'all need to pay attention to that. But shout out to everybody that got it done, man. That's what I got to say.
All right, cool. That same question goes to you, Bo. Bo 2.0. How do you feel about LeBron winning this championship? Everybody, like you posted something on social media earlier. You was like, LeBron got 4, and he was already 4th all time on the list. So just talk to me. How do you feel about LeBron getting number 4 and them Lakers, man? I need a fresh perspective. Talk to me.
I mean, I wasn't surprised after the Clippers. After what happened to the Clippers, wasn't nobody else going to beat them. That's the only team that had a chance to beat them. I'm mad because I didn't get to watch the real finals, which was the Clippers versus the Lakers. I'm pissed off about that shit. But I mean, I'm more good shit, Brian. Y'all won, good for the Lakers. I'm more impressed by Jimmy because he showed me something, and I ain't think he had it in him. Good job, Jimmy Butler. I'm happy that you did what you did. I'm more impressed by that. But I mean, they won. Okay, cool. It don't do nothing for his legacy. It couldn't do nothing but hurt him if you'd have took another finals loss. He was already top forward to me anyway, win or lose. So all they gonna say is, oh, how close he is to Jordan now, but he'll never be Jordan. We all know that. Some people don't. This new generation won't.
Hold on, real
he won't
quick.
never be Jordan.
Before I go to, hey, Bo, before I go to D. Stanfield, so you literally telling me it's nothing that this man can do possible to pass Jordan. And I'm not saying he's already passed Jordan. I'm just saying, are you telling me that it's nothing that he can do to pass Jordan?
It's nothing.
That sounds like you don't have no objectivity.
There's nothing he can do to pass Jordan. I'm sorry. You know why? Because he already took the easy road to get his first chips. If he left Cleveland to go to Miami, he took the easy way out. You can't do that.
So you felt like if he got his first chip in Cleveland, he would be more in the
without
conversation.
Jumping ship? Yes, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what. Hold on a sec, D. Stanfield. I see you over there relaxing. You sipping your tea. You waiting to get some of this. How do you feel? LeBron gets number 4.
I'm eating my popcorn like Michael Jackson did in that theater during Thriller.
So talk to me. How do you feel about the Lakers getting that? LeBron getting his 4th. Dwight Howard.
What was the last thing you said? Because I want to hinge my comments off the last thing you said. What was the last thing you said?
For me?
Bo? Yeah, Bo.
I said he cheated the game. He cheated the game.
Okay. All right. Irv, to answer your question, yes, there is something LeBron can do that can put him in the conversation to pass MJ. You know what that thing is?
I don't know. Talk to me. I need the fresh perspective on this.
Stop soliciting people to come play with you and just win.
I don't think he can win without it.
He can't.
You know what? He
can't win without it. He can't win without it.
Then you can't pass MJ. The thing that MJ has ahead of him, and here's what people will tell you. The people that are novice at this analysis shit will tell you, oh, well, Mike didn't play against great competition. Oh,
that's
well,
not true, but go ahead.
But they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you, oh, well, Pippen could have been MVP of them finals just like Mike could have. Oh, Mike only had to score 40. That's all he had to do was score. He never had to play defense and blah 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 blah.
Not true.
That's what
But go
people.
ahead.
That's what people won't try to tell you. What they're not gonna tell you is before Pippen was Pippen, Mike made this guy. When Pippen
Absolutely.
first got into the league in Central Arkansas State, little bitch made. Real talk.
Migraines.
Migraines, back spasms. This
Talk about it.
This is
You
what
all right?
this is what it's taking. This is what it's taking you out of playoff series, B. Against the people that you supposedly trying to get over the hump over. But this is what we talking about. So whenever you get through, you know what else LeBron could do to get past MJ? When you know you're the only person that can stop the best scorer on another team, stop passing that guy off to another defender on your team. Don't pass KD. Don't pass KD off to Kevin Love. Don't pass Jimmy Butler off to AD. Step
That man
up,
passed
bro.
KD off to J.R. Smith. He passed KD off to J.R. Smith. Get out of here, man.
Totally.
Yo, yeah, we need to talk. We need to talk about the whole story. Like people want to say, "Oh, LeBron got a triple double in the last 2 games of the finals." Bro, they changed the rules of assists in 2018. Look,
Speak on that. Go a little deep on that point.
Goddamn, James Harden almost averaged the same triple doubles that Russell Westbrook was averaging 2 years prior.
Well, bro, talk to me about that rule change. How did they change the rules in 2018? How did they change the rules? So what was the change?
In the previous assist rules, you could pass a guy and he can only take a legal two-step assist to make a basket. When you pass that motherfucker, the motherfuckers now, they can take up to 5 dribbles, and it could still be considered an assist.
Oh.
What we really talking about right now? Like,
okay.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, me and D-Verse see eye to eye that the triple double itself is overrated because it doesn't generate wins. But I don't diminish the fact that stats in the NBA are still hard to accomplish. But if we're gonna look at it from that standpoint, then anybody that's telling you that a motherfucker all he had to do was score 40 points, they sound stupid.
They sound very uninformed.
40 points against the best players in the motherfucking world. You sound dumb as fuck. So yeah,
well,
going back to your question, Irv, the things that LeBron can do to pass Jordan, those opportunities have passed him by. So the things that he needs to be trying to accomplish to solidify himself as a part of the conversation is go ahead and pass Kareem as the all-time leading scorer. Go ahead and solidify yourself as one of the all-time leaders in assists and whatever else you do, and then carry on with your didactic memory and your ability to break down games and become a combination of Magic Johnson and Bill Russell, where you become a coach and you teaching people the game and this, that, and third. But what you won't do, because this is how we identify Jordan, what you won't do is become the best winner in NBA history, which makes you the GOAT, because 6 for 6 has passed you by.
Well, and I'll say this before I go to Courtney, because I kind of wanted Courtney to elaborate on something. I feel like LeBron is a GM. I feel like LeBron is the next Jerry West. His ability to put teams together, and he showed this as a player, I think is uncanny, and I think he will be phenomenal in the front office. I think LeBron is either going to be in the front office or LeBron is going to be an owner before it's all said and done. But Courtney,
he'll be the at the sales of the NBA,
right?
When he leaves,
that's a good point. And Courtney, I said earlier when the bubble started, I said regardless of who they play, the Lakers in 6. And I know you kind of took you didn't like when I said that. You didn't like the angle that I was coming from. But just real quick before we go to the next question, because I want to talk about some of these new coaching situations. Just how do you feel about how the whole media is kind of talking about LA? Personally, I feel like the media only positions certain teams to be valid or certain teams to be important. You and I kind of talked about the importance of how the bubble highlights some of these small market teams, and I just kind of want you to bring light to some things. Who who stood out to you? Like I became a Denver fan watching this bubble, and I'm going to continue to follow Denver from here on out. But just talk to me about it, man. Some of these just
Uh,
small market teams.
well, first I disagree with D. Stanfield. LeBron has one more way to really put himself in that conversation, and it's to do what hasn't been done in about 10, 15 years. But it would be something that Mike accomplished, which was three-peat his way out and land at 6. If he three-peats his way out and land at 6 with everything, then you could reevaluate the conversation. And it's a valid conversation. Moving on to the small market team part of it, though, nobody stood out that I didn't already pay attention to.
Even if he's not a major contributor.
Yeah, I will get to that later, though. We'll talk about that, but yeah. Um,
All right.
as far as the small market team, nobody really stood out like that I didn't pay attention to. I've been a Denver fan. They've been under my Bleacher Report watch for the last 5 years, so I'm a fan of Denver. So they didn't really stand out. It was more like other people got to see him. I followed Don, him being a Rick Pitino guy, and me being a Rick Pitino fan, which is why I followed Don Mitchell, not so much the team of Utah, but following Donovan Mitchell. So that didn't really shock me. Clippers, Lakers, we pay attention to them. So like inside with the small market team, and then the East was just the East. They all small market for real right now. Like, nobody was paying the East no mind. So like nobody really shocked me. It was just more of the effect that more people understood that there's more players out here, there's more things. I think it helped a lot of people free agent calls. And shit, who knows? They might be in a bubble again next year. Who knows how this thing gonna turn out? So it was good. It was positive. But we'll see next year when everybody is back and the bubble got Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kyrie, KD. It's gonna be a different kind of bubble next year.
Oh yeah, because you got KD, you got Steph, like Bo's boys is coming back, Steph and Clay and all them guys.
Ben didn't play in the playoffs of the bubble.
But speaking of coming back, Tyronn Lue is coming back to the coaching head table. I mean, coming back to the coaching seat. So, Bo 2.0, I'm gonna start with you, man. How do you feel about Tyronn Lue landing a job? I know last week we spoke about Doc Rivers, but talk to me about this Tyronn Lue hire. Do you like it?
I'm happy for any black man to get a coaching job in the NBA. He been a coach before. I'm happy for him. He got the job. I don't think much going to change. They got to do something to their roster, or it's going to be the same thing. Now, me personally, he might not give up with the easy if he have it. Like unlike Doc, but I don't think he'll be a better coach than Doc. Me personally, I don't. But
now
we'll see what happens. I'm happy for him.
Is he picking the groceries, or they got another person that's going GM?
What you mean? No, Jerry West or whoever. What's the name? For what's the dude's name? Frank. What's the little white guy name, man? Frank, whatever. Lawrence Frank. He the GM or the president or one of them, and then Jerry West the advisor. So if Ty Lue went on the, it wasn't like Ty Lue went on the staff when they gave up a 3-1 lead to Denver. I mean, he could have helped Doc out then. He didn't do it. I mean, did nobody help him out? They all failed, if you ask me. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. They need to find a way to get rid of Paul George. That's what they need to do. Because Pandemic P ain't gonna show up in the playoffs, man. Okay? They wanted Paul George, Kawhi wanted Paul George or whatever. They better find a way to get rid of him. Or they're gonna do the same thing that happened. We know he's not gonna show up. It ain't Doc fault Paul George shot that bitch off the side of the backboard. Shit.
Whenever you get through. All right, D, I see you waiting to get D, I see you waiting to talk about this Ty Lue situation. How do you feel about Ty Lue landing his job, and how do you see this working out?
Hey, they both said that Ty Lue didn't help Doc Rivers in his after he was up 3-1 in the last series with the Clippers, right?
That's what he
I
said.
said he was on the staff.
Was what? Okay. Was Ty Lue designated as the person to help David Blatt when he was coaching?
What you mean when David
I
Okay.
Black?
don't know.
He was the assistant coach.
LeBron got David Blatt fired.
No,
LeBron got David
listen to
Blatt
what I'm
No,
fired.
no
saying.
doubt about it. No
Listen
doubt
to
about
what I'm
that.
saying. He was designated as the assistant coach to help David Blatt when he was coaching, right?
You feel
David
like
Blatt
Tyronn Lue
was
is on the tape?
David Blatt was David Blatt with even though he was leading the division, was losing the teams that he shouldn't have lost to.
That's not why he got fired.
That's
You know why he
ultimately
got fired, right? You know why he got
that
fired,
was
right?
ultimate. See, what you're not going to do, Bo, is you're not going to deflect. What you're
I'm
not
gonna
going to
tell
do
you.
is
You
you're not
want to
going
know
to
why?
deflect.
You know why he got fired?
I know why you think he's got fired.
No,
The
I
fact
know.
of the
You
matter,
tell me why you think.
the
Tell me
fact
what
of
you
the
think I
matter
think.
is they lost to several games to teams that they shouldn't have lost to. Players on their team thought that they got out coached, and he lost the locker room. And so there were voices in the locker room that said he don't need to be the coach. Ty Lue became the coach, similar to what just happened here. And they won a championship.
And you think Ty Lue
And
gonna take
so
the Clippers to a championship?
I don't know if he's going to take them to the championship. But what I do know is if there is anybody in the organization currently that can do it, it's Ty Lue. On top of the fact that, like me, you, and Courtney all said, unlike organizations like Brooklyn, the Clippers were willing to give Ty Lue what he was fucking worth. The 5-year deal he was asking for. So for me, I'm good.
Okay. He wanted that from the
Okay.
Lakers too, right? And the Lakers didn't give it to him, right?
Correct.
Right? He
Correct.
wanted
Mr.
5 years
Young.
from the Lakers too, right?
All
Correct.
right, cool. Hey, let Mr. Young and Talented get some, man. What's your thoughts on Ty Lue? Because you know you're the
Uh,
GM of the crew, so you know when you hit your highest potential, you might be picking a coach in the future. So, what are your thoughts on Tyronn Lue landing this position?
um, Shout out Tyronn Lue. It's a good hire for him. He was there. He know the people. He was part of putting that team together. He know what was going on, why it didn't succeed. He got a good, I guess, an apprenticeship version of the job he's about to handle. So who can knock that? I'm more excited for Chauncey Billups going with him. I think that's the X factor there. That Chauncey Billups will be with him. Chauncey Billups to be a voice in that locker room, and Chauncey Billups has the potential to be a GM. He should be an executive more than a coach. That is what he wants. I believed if I'm correct, that was the job that he was interviewing and being offered for with Cleveland before he had the conversation with Kyrie. But don't quote me on that. But I'm not 100% sure. But him having that want in life will not only give him a good perspective to be able to talk from a player's perspective, but from an executive perspective. We'd be able to keep it real with them on both sides of the spectrum and how this should be handled. Also, he'd be able to pick some good players to fill in because the Clippers really don't need a lot. They got a good core. This might save Lou Will. This might save Montrezl Harrell. This might save Pat Bev. You got 2 point guards who played smaller roles when needed or bigger roles when needed to secure championships for their team. So I think it's a dope setup how they got it going. I'm sure they'll bring in some more veteran coaches. I don't think the Clippers need a lot on their roster. They just need to move a couple parts, add a couple players, take some players out. Nothing to do with the main core, Kawhi. To me, Kawhi, PG, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Will, Pat Bev, Zubac, Morris, all untouchable. Those 7 untouchable. And then work from 7 to 12 to 15 and shuffle it, move it in and out however you see fit that best fit the team. But I like the move.
Okay. Anybody want to rebuttal what Courtney had to say before I go to the next question? Anybody want to add anything on Tyrone Lue, or y'all satisfied with what y'all had to give?
The only one thing
Okay.
that I'll say is that I
Okay.
missed the conversation around the whole Chauncey Billups thing. I did want to echo that. I didn't see that coming. First of all, not from the assistant coach, the lead assistant coach thing. I'm like Courtney. I feel like Chauncey is an executive mind. Number one, I feel like he has an abstract view, very similar to what they thought that Phoenix thought they were getting out of Steve Kerr, but really he was a coach's mind that just so happened to function well with the front office. But I didn't see that coming. So kudos to Chauncey Billups. I'm worried about whether, like Bo brought up a good point. They need to do something with the bench. Like I discredited Bo on pretty much everything that Bo said because he talks foolishness the majority of the time. But the one good thing that he said about this entire argument, which was strong from his own words, was that they need to do something about the bench. They cannot rely solely on their front five. That their depth is going to have to improve in order for them to be able to compete at the level that they need to get to the championship level. And if they don't, it doesn't matter what the fuck Ty Lue and Chauncey Billups does. It's not going to prevail in the playoffs. And so kudos to both of that shit.
Let me ask you a question. If everybody fully healthy, where are the Clippers ranked in the West next year?
Probably right behind the Lakers.
Probably number 2 or 3, but no, it won't be right behind the Lakers.
Top 4.
It'll be commensurate. It'll be commensurate.
I did have a question before y'all kind of went off in this direction. Courtney, I agree with you. Top 4. I would even go as far as to say top 2. But I really want to segue, since we're still on a coaching and a GM perspective. Atlanta Falcons, 0-5 start. Dan Quinn, hold on. Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitrov got their paperwork.
I don't care what you do to finish it. I'm still gonna take it back. So
they got their paperwork. So I'm gonna start with Bo. Bo.
Hey,
Bo, what's your thoughts, man, on Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitrov getting them papers? And I mean, there's so much talent in Atlanta. They should not be a 0-5 team. So just talk to me about it, man.
What kind of talent is in Atlanta, Irv?
Julio Jones, top 2 wide receiver. Former MVP, Matt Ryan.
That's the type of talent I'm talking about. But go ahead. Whenever you
get there. Wow. It's a family show. Bo, go ahead.
Man, that man just threw me all off with that, man. Jesus Christ. They should have been gone. I mean, I'm surprised it took this long. Them folks should have been gone. He should have got rid of Dan Quinn after you blow a 28-3 lead. Your ass should have been out by the hill. You would have got my pink slip. For me, I would have gave shot. I would have gave what's Frisco coach name? What's his name? Kyle
Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. I would have gave him the job right then and there after that shit happened. I would have. I mean, who cares? Matt Ryan gone next too. Don't be surprised if Matt Ryan get traded before this season over.
How do you feel about Raheem?
He does the exact same thing the very next year in San Fran.
Right.
Who?
So, Bo, before I go on to the rest of the Super Bowl. Bo, how do you feel about Raheem Morris getting the job?
I mean, he's just the interim coach. He ain't the main job. I'm happy for the black man. He been a head coach before.
You don't think he can keep the job? You don't think he can keep the job?
Depends how good they do this year. If you me, if I'm a Falcons, you need to be tanking for. Go get your quarterback. Go get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. They both from Georgia. It'll be the feel good story. You get rid of Matt Ryan and you find a way to get rid of, and you trade Julio and get you maybe a second and a fourth round pick. But you need to be tanking. You need to lose every motherfucking game. That's what you need to do. Lose every goddamn game. That's all I got to say.
Cool. I got you, man. Got you, man. Hey, D,
Hey,
go
bro.
ahead, bro. What's your thoughts on what's your thoughts on Atlanta Falcons moving away from Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff?
You know, my thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons are. My thoughts are with Bo and Court. I just want to know if the Lakers, Clippers, and Denver are the top 3 teams in the West. Who's the number 4? That's what I want to know. I told you I was taking it back.
I don't want to talk about that.
Golden State. Golden State gonna be top 4.
Okay. All right. To answer your question, Eric, because I don't have the time to listen to that bullshit. I think Dan Quinn's firing was overdue. Okay. Not necessarily because of production, although production would be the main catalyst. I just don't think that he had the locker room for the last 2 years.
That's fair.
I think that as a head coach, when you are too arrogant to know when you don't have the captivated control and engagement over your locker room, somebody needs to relieve you of your duties or be in your circle to say, "Hey, bro, just gracefully bow out." When you got a bunch of yes men in your circle, or you too arrogant to see it, that's when you get fired. Dan Quinn knew his time. He knew it, bro. Everybody knows that his time that was numbered.
The cupboard wasn't full, so I don't understand why Thomas Dimitroff, unless there was a package deal, but the cupboard wasn't full. It's talent in Atlanta, so why should Thomas Dimitroff get the axe?
Because you facilitated. You facilitated the continuation of this.
It's talent in the building.
Of this foolishness, bro. You can. Okay, I got one for you.
Yeah, can I do this?
Court, just give me. I promise you. Like maybe a minute and a half.
Sure.
Bill O'Brien, right? GM and coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's talent in the building, and you're responsible for bringing the talent in, but you don't get nothing out of it, don't both of them need to go?
And Bill O'Brien's case, yes.
No, I mean, same guy. Period. GM, coach. You chose that guy, or you are that guy. Both of them need to go, because although you brought in the talent, you don't know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the coach's job, not the GM's job.
The usage, but you selected the coach. That's my point. Go ahead, Court. I'm done. I said I got 90 seconds. You got it, Court.
Listen, man. Bo was pretty much on. He was pretty much on par. But here, this is how you do it. First things first, Dan Quinn. You listen. You are a casualty to having to stick with the owner's boy. You feel me? It's not your fault, man. You're a Jersey kid. You're a soldier. You took one for the team, baby. You never talked down on the soldiers. You stayed in it, head down, and you fulfilled the obligations of your contract. And it's time to come home, because we're trying to build some real up here right now, okay? Now, as far as the Atlanta Falcons go, the issue is simple. You got rid of the black cat. You went to the Super Bowl, you failed, and then you paid the human who failed a lot of money as a failure. So he lost any inspiration to do anything positive for you. The rest of it was a sale job. You hear me? Stop. I got this. Hey, I got this, brother. No, relax. This is a chain of people, but it starts at Matty. You heard? Now, Matty got paid. He's the owner's boy. That's why he got paid. Clearly, he didn't get paid to be a winner, because he just lost, and he still got paid. So you created Roddy White all over again from a quarterback position. So that's why it's your fault. Dan Quinn, it is your fault for at no time benching his stupid ass and telling him to be better. So And then your defense kept getting hurt, which was the signature reason you got hired in the first place. So if you're not doing the job you really got hired for, why are you still here? Thomas Demetrio, you are fired for the simple fact that you chose not to listen to this little black boy on the other side of the camera when I told you not to let Cam Newton go to any team but the Atlanta Falcons. Why? Because Matty Ice needed some fucking fear. You hear me? He needed to understand that you can be replaced. And you can be replaced right now. But instead, you showed the boy love. You didn't get a proper backup. They fucking suck per usual. You still don't got a fucking backup. And your best bet is to tank for a quarterback now while Cam Newton is in New England hanging out. This is why all of those people got fired. Because Arthur Blank ain't about to fire himself, homeboy. You hear me? So, this is where we're at with it.
I admire that take only because the rumor came out that Cam Newton would have gladly come home to Atlanta, like without restraint, if they would have reached out. Gladly.
So D, how you feel about Raheem Morris? You think he got a chance to hold on to the job, or you just saying another interim?
No.
Another interim Greg Williams situation.
He don't have a chance in hell to hold on to the job. First of all, the catastrophic failure that looms over him because of what happened in Miami is still there. So, no, he doesn't have a chance to hold on to the job.
You mean Tampa Bay?
Should be trying to, but yeah, Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mixed those two up all the time. Yeah, what happened in Tampa Bay, that catastrophic failure, he has no chance whatsoever. What he should be trying to do is cut his losses, make a good impression, be prepared to go back and be a coordinator, which is probably where he belongs, and then go be a coordinator with the guy that's going to be the next champion for a while. I don't know who. I got a better question
for this. I got a better question for this whole panel, and I specifically start with Bo first, not for any other reason, but I think you might shoot out somebody that I don't think about that makes sense. Who's the next GM and coach for the Atlanta Falcons? I have a coach in mind. I don't have a GM in mind. You tell me.
With GM, I don't know. Coach? Eric the Enemy might be the head coach.
I'm all right. Me and you share eye to eye on this one. Fair.
But GM, I don't know who would get the GM job. I don't know. But Eric the Enemy should be at the top of the line as the head coach.
Do you agree, whoever the next GM, before D answer, do you agree that whoever the next GM is has to be innovative?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, hey,
now, if you bring in Eric,
I know
if you bring in Eric B, that could be nasty. But go ahead.
Hey, look, let me say one more thing. I know he's not going to leave, but can you just think about this? Atlanta tanks. Get Trevor Lawrence. Go get Dabo Swinney whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants.
Dabo Swinney ain't going nowhere.
Give him a blank check and give him whatever he wants. He want to leave with his quarterback?
Dabo got it too good in Clemson.
He ain't got nothing to prove in college no more.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that either.
No, Courtney, that was a great question. Who do you think should be the GM of the Atlanta Falcons?
That's tough. That's tough. Football is tougher because of the scale. GM wise, this is what I'll say. I don't think they should go get anybody from Bill Belichick's camp, anybody from an older camp anywhere. I think it's somebody new. They need there's a guy that worked with Pete Carroll. I cannot remember his name. I don't know. I can't remember his name. It's a guy that worked with Pete Carroll on the scouting side. But he come into mind. I can't remember his name. But I just think it got to be something new. That's what I can say. Somebody in the pipeline.
I mean, it might have somebody homegrown that they go to
Very possible.
GM,
But I just don't want to.
but
I don't
that
think it should be anybody coming from trying to follow New England, trying to follow Kansas City, trying to
yeah,
follow.
I was
I
about to
don't.
say that Andy Reid tree is hot. That
Yeah, but don't.
Andy Reid
I
tree
would
is
take
hot.
Eric B. I would take Eric B. as a coach. But I'm saying as a GM, Atlanta got to stop trying to be like this person, like that person, and just be Atlanta, like, and
Right.
figure out whatever
And
that
you know,
is.
that's a good point. And everybody, you are tuning in to Fresh Perspective, but we are coming up to that time on to our final perspective. D, I know you got some heartfelt stuff to say, so I'm gonna let you go last. So Bo 2.0, I'm gonna start with you, man. What's your final perspective?
Um, Shout out to the Lakers. Y'all did what y'all. I mean, what we thought y'all was gonna do after the Clippers got put out. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. You proved to me, and I think a lot of people around the world, NBA fans, that you're a top 10 player in the NBA. Shout out to you. And I'm just ready for the NBA offseason, ready for the draft. That's all I'm thinking about, basically. That's all I got
Okay,
to say.
cool. And okay, then I'm gonna go over to the young and talented Mr. Courtney Chappelle. Talk to me. What's on your mind, man? What's your final perspective?
Final perspective. Thank God the NBA bubble is over, so now we can get to the most important things that we should already have figured out, which is where anybody's going to go. NBA draft, which is deep as usual, and I, I, I just think, as a final perspective, I think we do got to appreciate basketball players a little bit more. One of the bad parts was that out of the thing we didn't speak of, one of the bad parts was the whole Danny Green getting threats and some players was getting personal shots took at him like, yo, it's ball. Like, I'm cool with you characterizing somebody because of the way they play basketball in particular, but when you start taking it personal and it's going outside and family and life expecting things, y'all doing a little too much. It really ain't that deep, man. That's
Okay.
all I got.
That's an awesome perspective. I'm gonna just be real quick. My final perspective. Shout out James and you know the technology and the job you did today, man. I appreciate you for coming on and doing your thing. Just a shout out, guys. If you like how the show is looking, reach out to the Stanfield management, man, and get some of this good work that we got going on over here. But just thank you for everybody for tuning in. Shout out to the OnPoint Network, and that's all I got. So D Stanfield, what's your final perspective, man? Take us home.
So before I go into my final perspective, Court Bo or Ryan Sattler, defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. That's who I would take over Eric Bieniemy.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I feel like
I agree. That's cool.
I feel like he's a more innovative mind. I feel like he's just as in touch with the players. And I feel like he's a better delegator than Eric Bieniemy, which is probably why Eric Bieniemy was not taken seriously for a job already. That being said, final perspective is this. I appreciate everybody in this circle. I know Ice ain't here tonight. I know D Burtz has taken his initiatives to be to embark upon the entire emphasis of entrepreneurship. But everybody that's in this circle is a part of the Fresh Perspective Village that has essentially become part of the Rise Up Family Village. I appreciate the fact that we are not yes men when it comes to holding each other accountable, not only in sports debate, but also in life. I want to carry that into. I want to take that same mentality in terms of advisorship, in terms of the people that follow this show and the people that operate in professional sports and entertainment. We are challenged with an obligation to do things that are not of the norm. When we talk about selecting coaches, when we talk about operating on investments, when we talk about making life decisions, a lot of people want to fall into the fold and just follow the crowd. But it takes special individuals to look at things, to say that those things are not right, and bring those things to the forefront. I challenge people that are watching the show to be leaders. And leadership comes with responsibility and sacrifice. Fresh perspective is about looking at things outside the box with an abstract view and not being afraid to tell people that they're wrong or that you don't give a fuck about how they feel. You feel differently. And so I'm challenging everybody that's following us, or that is involved with us, or that is involved with the Rise Up Family platform, to just be different, be better, be disruptive, and don't accept mediocrity as the norm, but push people to be excellent and be better than what the fuck they are, because this basic shit is time out for it. And that's all I got.
All right, guys, and once again, you were watching Fresh Perspective. It's about that time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace and blessings.
Peace.